episode of Let's Play Koudelka. I'm your host, the RPG guy. Probably the last episode, I would think, because we're going to be quickly approaching endgame. Now, I did take the liberty of leveling up a little bit, just because, you know, there's a thing with regards to endings, and I wanted to ensure that you guys, you know, for enduring my suffering through this Let's Play, that you guys get the best experience possible when it comes to endings. Because yes, this game has multiple endings. And depending on the decisions and the things that you do throughout the game will dictate what ending you get. Alright, so let's keep moving.
It's amazing.
The violating tentacle monster of doom! Of doom! What does it mean? What does it mean? Alright, so before we do anything here, let's move forward. There are marks under the casket. It must have been dragged. So I'm going to come down this way. Come over here. Let's go up this way. Keep on moving up. Before we interact with this, there's actually something we kind of want to make ourselves aware of. We want to... Old letter. And remember these words: secret pain, people, lights. In that order. Secret pain, people, lights. Looks like there are only 4 keys you can be pressed. Yep. So... secret pain, people... Oops. Light. The pipe organ sounds with a reverberating note. Dun dun dun! Alright. And let us move. Bah! I can never get a break, you know? Let's go ahead and hit him with Geyser. Tornado. This will be all that we wrote, or they wrote. And sure. So some of you might be wondering, I'm using greats. Been using the large two-handed swords for a while now because I wanted to build up our levels with the big sword, so that way when we are ready, we'll be able to wield the life drinker I would hope, very effectively / very efficiently. Alright, let's go down the stairs here that were just made.
Patrick. Poor Patrick. Hey, what are you doing? What's that? No, don't!
I'm not asking for your help. This is my problem. None of you need to die with me here.
Well, that's... Alright, so before we do anything else, let's go up to here, throw the Daniel's arm in that we, you know...
Are you sure? Let's proceed.
Saint Daniel Scodius, protect us from these evil spirits and grant us inner strength. Amen. Thou, who were created and born out of dust, now go quietly and return to thy Maker!
Yeah, what he said. Alright, so before we do anything... let's do that to get us started. As there's going to be some scripted battles that we just have to deal with. Not a big deal. Not really. Or rather, not in any specific way. Let's go ahead and... do that. Hit these fools with flare. As these enemies can only be harmed with magic, so that is what we're going to hit them with. Boom. Not much to really say about these fights because they're going to be pretty mild. Just got to make sure that we take the damage rather well. Heal up if necessary between fights. You know, basic stuff like that. Alright. Nice. And we level up. Yay. pass that around. Choose 2 items to throw away. That shouldn't be too difficult. Let's throw away this and that. We'll use these right away. These are little buffs, permanent buff items. So an increase in piety and intelligence. Piety will definitely go to Edward. And then intelligence we'll put on Koudelka. Because that way we have a little bit better means of handling things going forward. There we go. And so now we're in another forced fight here. Now this one's a little different. The vine with the body on it, I believe, can only be damaged with melee attacks. So let's move there. And then it's really not much to say, except it's the same battle that we were kind of dicking around with earlier, right? Load. I think we got him. Yeah. Piety and agility, all good things. And we'll go to items, down to piety, being used on Edward, agility being used on James. I don't think... Didn't think we'll be okay, but we'll see. We gotta keep making our way here to the top. Really quick. Here. You can feel a pulse in the plant. Previously steady, it suddenly picks up pace until it feels like though the plant will explode. We're gonna make this rose petal bloom with the biggest of dicketh. All of this is leading to what we're about to see here. Now, we're getting to the last boss of the game. There is multiple endings to this game. Based on a series of things we had to kind of accomplish. One of those things being we needed to find that pendant there. If you didn't find the pendant, this would have been the end of the game. And this is absolutely hilarious. I love them body physics of just falling dead to the ground like that. If we haven't figured out, we're being chased now by Elaine, who's not very happy with us. Alright. Move. And we're going to be forced into another kind of small set of scripted battles here, which we will deal with. So in this particular fight, we are kind of at Elaine's mercy with regards to Edward. So we'll need to have him spend his turns boosting the offense of our casters. Let's buff. There. Hit her again. Hey, that's good. Guess we'll just have him wait. Nice. Before we move on here, Koudelka heal. Alright, let's keep moving. And Elaine catches up with us again. Now it's kind of like with the vines, it's a reverse where now we have to use melee attacks, but we're gonna buff the shit pretty much right out of Edward. We're gonna buff the shit. We're gonna buff Edward's shit up pretty good, or buff the shit out of Edward, and everybody's pitching it. Actually, what I should have her really do. And wait. So you might notice we're pretty resilient, but just wait for it. This game's gonna vamp up its difficulty very, very quickly. But there's really a reason for that. Load. Nice. That's really what we want. Now we have two characters with healing level 2, pretty much level 2 healing, and who are pretty good at doing it. There we go. All right, before moving on, All right, here we go. The final showdown. Because it's gonna get nasty. Ricola. And so now we're in a fight for our lives, because this is one of the two hardest fights in the game. And I don't know, I would say leveling helps, but sometimes it's debatable how much it's going to help, because this is a nasty freaking fight. You're gonna see what I mean. All the rules about how to handle it, how to handle bosses, how strongly leveled we are, and all of that hubbubaloo kind of goes out the window. Let's start with that. Let's go, and we have one of these scrolls. We're gonna use it. It'll get us started here. We've been holding on to that for quite a while. Boom! Boom shakalaka! Because all of this boss's attacks are relatively nasty. As you can see, look at that. Can't even really resist that damage. Ooh, nice. And we need him to reload his weapon. And then we're not hurting for health, so we're gonna make sure we attack. And we're gonna lay some... I don't think the magic's gonna do that much damage. It's really a lot of it now, since we've used that scroll is on Edward. I believe. Which, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's slow and steady. Now, the boss can't heal itself, so we have to somehow make sure that we're keeping the pressure on. Get some. Tornado. And this is the attack that's really gonna hurt. Yeah. That just sucks. Alright, now no matter what happens, we're gonna go ahead and allow this casting of attacks here, but then next round we have to heal. Now if we're lucky, we'll kill her before she gets a chance to really do too many attacks on us. That water scroll being imperative. If you don't have that water scroll, you just gotta kind of keep the pressure on. And that's really the best you can do. Alright, so now we're gonna take a round to let our characters heal themselves. We put a lot of stat points in agility. We didn't go too crazy, but we put enough to guarantee that we will have time to heal and recover before the boss gets a chance to unleash, you know, more magical attacks. There's the heal that we were kind of worried about. But that's okay, we're still in this fight. We can reduce that in about 2 full rounds of attacking from everybody. and it probably that or less, because Koudelka does about 1,600, so does James, and then if Edward gets a good hit, double hit, that's another 16, so that's about the damage she healed. We just gotta keep that pressure on. Again, easier said than done, but that's what we have to try to do. And that James didn't help me. That's okay. We can suffer roughly 2. Oh wait. That's fine as long as he's not paralyzed. Yeah, that'll do. All right, let's go ahead and open up with some more magic damage here. So we know Edward will heal himself through attacking. There we go. Let's see here. We'll have to evaluate the damage on our casters. And if they're about 3,000, we can let them go one more round. Yeah, they're over 3,000. Keep up the pressure. Because if we lose this fight, you get the what's considered the bad ending, if I'm not mistaken. We're trying to avoid that from happening, because nobody wants a bad ending. You want a good ending. And you only get a good ending for being badass. Suck it, bitch. So yeah, you just need to make sure you build up agility for your characters so you don't get overwhelmed by all of her attacks. Make sure you have really good piety, because you need that resistance to the damage she's gonna hit you with. And it is magic based. And then lots of health, and then you raise your attack and all of that stuff. But yeah, I spent about maybe an hour grinding before this final fight, and then we were good to go. Raid! So not too bad. Not too bad at all. We done killed a bitch.
I have seen the most interesting happenings. It would be a waste to go back to sleep just yet.
Hey, Koudelka. I wonder what she was about to say.
Dead people don't speak. It's just in your memories.
Huh? Is that how you explain what we just saw?
I guess.
Memories. Somebody told me that after a loved one's death, all we have is memories. In these, we maintain an eternal bond with the dead.
There it is. So that was Koudelka, the first game in the Shadow Hearts series. Probably the weakest when it comes to overall story, but definitely kind of the foundation of everything that makes the world of Shadow Hearts. Now, Shadow Hearts. Oh hey, it's Hiroki Kikuta, the guy he made Secret of Mana's the Seiken Densetsu series. Anyway, when it comes down to what we've experienced here, is that this is the foundation for, one would argue, a much better story. Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant are considered the sweeping epic of storytelling from the PlayStation 2 era. No, I'm teasing, but a lot of the events in Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant have to do with what we've witnessed here in Koudelka. As far as Koudelka's overall story goes, it is very kind of blunt, rather. It's very short. It's about, a tragedy, death, trying to bring people back to life, killing of, like, robbers, thieves and whatnot. And this story is very thin, and it's okay. It was kind of the first attempt at this series, for this series. Whereas when we get into Shadow Hearts Covenant and Shadow Hearts from the New World, they go into a more traditional JRPG style. But a bigger thing that they actually handle better is they actually tell a much bigger story. This game for me is a solid 4 out of 10. I don't recommend it for everybody. If you're a Shadow Hearts fan or a purist that has to play something from the beginning of the franchise if it's canon, yeah, you can play this game. But in the same breath, you could also just read a summary of the story, or just maybe find somebody who's cut all the dialogue throughout the game and then piece together the little bit of story that way. Because to be fair, there's not much here. And for what is here is interesting. It's, it's one of those games where it's like, I played this, I'm probably never going to go back and play it again, but I'll always remember Koudelka, the characters, and Koudelka herself and the other characters, and the events that happened here, as they are referenced in a big way in Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant, as well as some of the visuals and the reoccurring character of that is relevant. But like I said, not really the best game. Music's great. The little bit that's there, especially this vocal choral stuff. The voice acting, of course, is PlayStation 1 terribleness to the cranked up to 10. But it's tolerable, and for the most part, it's fine. I will say for sure that this is the greatest game out there? No. But the games that this story leads into are spectacular. And hence why, if you really want the full and complete experience, yeah, you got to do this one. Though this isn't actually the worst game in the series. To be fair, it's probably the third out of the 4. This is probably number 3. But I have a soft spot for this series, which is why I figured I'd start it, and then that way it'll be a gateway into doing Let's Plays of Shadow Hearts Covenant, and eventually, and against my will, probably at some point, Shadow Hearts from the New World. But yeah, this idea of horror RPG. So there's that element of it too. This game has about 4 endings or 5. I've only ever seen 3 of them. And one of them's just straight up, you forgot to do something, so they give you the finger, and that's the end of it. But at the end of the day, like, the other 2 endings are pretty neat. And I'm not familiar with there's like a 4th ending, and I think I've only seen 2 actively, and I know of a 3rd one. Because it ends up being, you don't have the pendant, you instantly die when she breathes that mist on you. That miasma, whatever you want to call it. And then the other ending is where you actually lose the final fight, and you get a slightly different ending. Again, it is what it is. Now, what's neat about this too is this story theoretically takes place in a fictional representation of the real world, just in the past, right? Hence why, there's references to times, dates, locations. This franchise is actually based on real locations and real events that have happened. At least discussions, like the sinking of the the SS Princess Alice was a real event, and so they used that event in this game. and so on and so forth. So there are elements to this franchise that are pretty neat. The fact that they use real world location, the series will use real world locations, real world events, and it's just at a foundation a really cool idea. And to my knowledge, the creators of the Shadow Hearts series as well as the Wild Arms series are looking to put out not a new Wild Arms or Shadow Hearts game, but they're making two games. One's something pennies, and I don't know what the Wild Arms one is called, but they're looking to kind of make them the successors to those franchises. And so that was kind of what inspired me to come back and kind of play through this again. And then eventually, before the new Shadow Hearts team makes their new game, I would like to have this out. I'd also like to have Wild Arms done by that time as well. So that way, you know, it'll all be going, because you just saw Wild Arms 4, now you've seen Koudelka, and it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. But I you know, like I said, it's a pretty quick game. You could beat it, and that's probably took me about 14-15 hours to beat, give or take, maybe even a little bit more. But you could beat this game in under 20 hours and get a full experience. There's also a secret boss, the giant gargoyle like thing. I believe it's called the gargoyle, that we ran away from. That is actually killable. You have any time you want to go back and kill that creature, but he's stronger than the final boss. So it's one of those neat little things. Oh, you can kill it and then go back, and you know, you could go and kill that creature if you want to. But it's one of those things that I don't like in Japanese role-playing games, where you doing the side quest makes you so overpowered that the rest of the game is a breeze. You go back, you kill the gargoyle, and you have to be strong enough to do it, and then you get access to the strongest weapon in the game we saw in the courtyard with that statue holding a sword. And that's the strongest weapon in the game. At the end of the day, I could really care less about that kind of stuff. I think most of you are on the same page as that as well, because yeah, now has Koudelka aged well? No, it hasn't. It definitely suffers from tank controls. If you're not a fan of the old Resident Evil games, it had a lot of that in it. It's very glitchy. We ran into a glitch while we were doing this Let's Play, so you could think that there are issues, and that was actually a glitch that happens, that does happen in the disc version of the game. But what can be said about this is that it's a pretty good experience. I do recommend it. If you want the full Shadow Hearts experience. If not, read a summary of what happens in this game and just enjoy Shadow Hearts Covenant. And if you really have to subject yourself to it, Shadow Hearts from the New World, to get the rest of the story, quote unquote. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/XR for more live gaming action. Because when we come back, we'll have even more RPG action from yours truly, the RPG guy. And thank you for toughing out with me through this playthrough. It's been a long time since I played this. This is one of those games when you beat it a couple times, like twice. Technically, I've played it 4 times. After that 4th time, I was like, yeah, I don't even know why I want to ever play this again. But for this Let's Play, now I feel like everything's come full circle. I may never actually have to play this again personally, unless I lose a bet, or, you know, you guys really want to see me do it again. I guarantee you could find the other endings online. But yeah, again, if you don't really care about like backstory to Shadow Hearts, this game is a easy pass. You can easily pass over this game, or I would even say give it a hard pass, because you don't really need to play this game to understand Shadow Hearts Covenant, and so on. But this definitely fills in the gaps of story that appear in Shadow Hearts. It explains a lot of the characters. It explains a lot of the oddities that you see in it, and it connects the events that happen in Koudelka. You'll see those events being connected to what happens in Shadow Hearts. So, again, thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.